So I drive to work every day. You drive to work every day. We're in our trucks all the time. It's ironic to me that the hardest part of tuning, or the hardest part of the performance industry to capture, is the drivability element. It's really subjective. It really takes seat time. And I would say that the technology, as far as camera, sound, as far as extending our sensory interface, is not quite there. It just takes a major investment, and it's the time when you use your truck the most. The majority of your drive time is not full throttle, is not dyno runs, is not sled pulling, etc. I mean, you really have to live with this thing every day if this is your driver. Which is why we put a ton of time into driving trucks. You simply have to drive them to find all the idiosyncrasies, all the little nooks and crannies of the calibration that you may have missed, all the situational elements that just need a fine-tooth comb. And you simply can't find that stuff from behind the desk. I don't care how good of a tuner you are. Theory only takes you so far. You really have to get out and drive them. And that's why the OEMs have these fleets of vehicles with drivers who are going around, logging, driving, commenting, making small adjustments as they go. Taking time every day to hone the calibration. It's stuff you can't do on a dyno. It's stuff you can't do on a spreadsheet. It's stuff that just has to be done in the cab. So speaking of in the cab, this morning I'm in the cab on our 2015 Ram. And this truck is it's a snapping turtle. Holy shit. Let's pause for this for just a sec while this dinosaur crosses the road. He is a big bastard. Hold on, let me try and help this guy cross the road a little bit. All right, crisis averted. So in our 2015 Ram, this is a twin turbo, emissions equipped. This is a nice new truck. It's got 30,000 miles on it. This falls in that usage range of every day, driven, towed with, relied upon. And that's a phrase that I think a lot of people can understand, can relate to, that you just can't take it so far that you're going to have to worry about it. So reliability is really a priority here. And that's the point of using the twin turbo kit. When you maintain the stock turbocharger in its factory location, you get really good transient response. You get a system that uses the after treatment, that uses all the emissions equipment just as it would from the factory. The factory after treatment really relies on that stock turbocharger. Relies on the use of the vanes, the EGR system, etc. So once you remove that stock turbocharger or significantly impair it, you're talking about a major calibration change. And that's just not something that anybody in the aftermarket really has the capacity to do. So what we do is we take a larger turbocharger and we put it over top of that stock turbocharger. Once you have that, you have the same response, the same feel as the stock turbocharger, but as soon as that stock turbocharger would feel like it's running out of air, in that 495 horsepower range on the top end, or during towing, where you start to see EGTs creep up past 1250, 1300 degrees, now that second turbocharger is feeding the stock turbocharger, and it's really putting it right back in its efficiency range, and we're moving a lot of air through the engine. And the reason moving all that air through the engine is important is because that's the main way that we cool exhaust gas temperatures. And we talk about exhaust gas temperatures a lot because they're a good indicator of how healthy the turbine shaft is going to be, how healthy the tops of the pistons are going to be, the valves, valve guides. All those pieces in the moving system are affected by that exhaust gas temperature. And they're able to put up with high exhaust gas temperatures for a while, but once you start really crowning 1350 for a significant period of time, it's detrimental to the engine. So you'll see a reduced lifespan. And where that twin kit really comes in is anytime you would normally see EGTs creep past that 1250, 1300 onto 1350, you can just feel that second turbocharger keeping you out of the danger zone. And that's a really nice feeling. It's really nice under full boost and full load, you know, with an unloaded truck, but by that time you're in the, you know, you're 80, 90 miles an hour. Where the kit would really shine is with the trailer behind it. And that's really the goal here, is to give you the most versatile package we can. Yes, it makes, you know, 635 horsepower, which is a good 140 horse over where we landed with the stock turbocharger. But the important thing is that it improves the safety and the reliability of the truck. So it adds power and improves safety and does nothing to the detriment of your fuel economy or your usability of the truck. In fact, it's my opinion that the factory would have used twin turbochargers if the accountants would have let it fly. So I don't know if you can hear that or not, but you can hear that little guy sing. And when I say little guy, I mean the big guy. You don't really know it's there until you start to lean on the truck a little bit, and then you get that 10, 15 pounds of boost out of the small side of the system, and then you start to hear the big turbocharger come to life, and it has a different pitch, it has a different sound, and it really lets you know when it's coming in. Another easy way to see when the big turbocharger is coming on is to look at your exhaust gas temp gauge, and where you used to see it, you know, continue to go up, you now get what I would call the hand of God pushing your exhaust gas temperatures down. This kit provides two unique challenges. The first, I would say, is the mechanical side of it. So getting the kit to fit and fit for a long time and not move or leak is much more challenging than anybody's going to tell you. If you look at Cummins hardware, if you look at Duramax hardware, you look at OEM quality diesel hardware, you'll see how heavy the stuff is. I mean, every flange is thick. Everything is built what I would call ×2. It's overkill. That's the reason we have so much capacity left in tuning these trucks from the get-go. That's the reason we can add 100 horsepower without having any issues. And everything on these trucks is overbuilt. So when we go through and we say, okay, we want to add a turbocharger to this truck, and we got a tight space to work in, and that second turbocharger is large, we're talking about adding a significant amount of boost to the truck, moving a significant amount of airflow. And when we do that stuff, drive pressure goes up, right? The air handling system is taxed. Everything is taxed. So it's important to overbuild the kit and to work on the positioning of the kit such that as the engine flexes, as the truck shifts, as you go over bumps, as you rack up miles, that the kit doesn't move, doesn't rattle, doesn't leak. You don't have corrosion issues. That your air filter doesn't suck in water when you go through a big puddle. You know, all these little things that you maybe don't think of if you design a kit in a certain part of the country, or you drive in a certain kind of conditions in the summer all the time, or you put 2,000 miles a year on your race truck. But if you're going to use a kit in an application like this, you really need to consider all those things. It needs to be OEM level quality. You have to be able to use the truck for 100,000, 200,000 miles without any major maintenance, without any service. And that's what we're doing as we drive these kits. So the LML, the similar LML kit, you know, we got 10,000, 15,000 miles on that so far on Worley's truck. On this Ram, I think we're at 2,000 or 3,000 miles so far. It's easy to get excited about the kit. It's another thing to spend time to put miles on it to you know, to validate. And that's the part that you have to get excited about as a tuner, is that, okay, now comes the part where we earn our keep. Now comes the part where we spend our seat time, where we drive the truck, where we get that first-hand experience. And I'm gonna cut here because we got some big rain.